Christ, sometime today, guys.
Okay.
Are we doing this?
Okay.
Okay.
We do our job.
All right.
Yeah. Let us do it. We got this.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready.
Sit down.
For two
Relax.
of the
Take the load off.
guys you've never seen before, Mr. Rob Benedict and Mr. Richard Speight Jr.
You've never played that angrier, Billy.
Yeah, you're pretty
Unbelievable.
angry.
I'll play it when I'm ready. Romp around every romp. Man, I love it. All hail Satan.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying, right? Thank you, Billy.
Rich, I've been wanting to bring this up, but our decoration budget is at an all-time high.
Oh, man. Yeah, well,
Really got the Easter out in full force.
we got, which had you not pointed them out, I wouldn't have noticed yet. So
Right.
they're really taking over the space.
Nothing says Easter. 2 lonely eggs.
Well, Two Lonely Eggs, by the way, is our street name.
Yep.
Our acoustic album coming out next year.
That's right,
Two Lonely Eggs. Half cracked. There you go. Bet it beats the dead trees.
That does beat the trees.
Is that
yeah.
right? That's how you know where you are in the sort of the time. If dead trees mean something to you, you know, then you've been coming here a while. Because they stopped that.
When we started making fun of them.
If I call that a podium, and you know that it's actually a lectern, that puts you on a timeline. You know what I'm talking about? You just think of an angry British man yelling at me. It's a lectern. Sorry, Mark. All these things.
All these things that take us way back in the day.
Yeah. For example, the fact that there's a band on stage. I mean, we could go all the way back to.
Yep.
There was.
You
no
and I
band.
are together on stage.
What the? Remember those days when we weren't?
We weren't
They're
speaking.
making us do that again tomorrow. I don't like it.
Doesn't make sense.
They do the whole thing where they, they split up the Robin Rich
Yep.
and they do.
Then they tell me that you're saying things about me.
Then I have to answer the questions. I say, I don't know, Bobo.
That's right.
Which is my thing. I divert. I'm not an answerer as much
No.
as a diverter.
Yep.
And
What would that make me? Just like a brick wall. You divert. Divert.
No, you're like the Velcro board. I toss it and it lands on you.
Right. Okay, that's good.
Like in a first grade classroom.
What?
You're a bulletin board.
Feels like a brick wall sometimes.
Well, tomato to whatever. All right. Shall we dive in and?
Let's do it.
I know you haven't seen us much, so this is gonna be a real treat for everybody. You're welcome. Yo.
Hi guys, I have a Kings of Con question.
Oh, okay. We can actually answer that. Robbie and I were involved in that production.
I was rewatching the other day and I realized Sheboygan, Wisconsin, Gil McKinney's character uses his. So I tweeted Gil and asked him why you guys had chosen that, and he said he didn't know and that I needed to ask.
Well, that's classic Gil.
Classic
Gil knows
Gil.
damn well why I picked Sheboygan. We had a meeting about it.
Yep.
We
The
talked about it.
We call it the Sheboygan meeting.
Yeah, the Sheboygan meeting. We flew to Sheboygan to do our research on the Sheboygan meeting, and Gil's a liar.
Yep.
But aside from Gil and his lying,
His lying mouth.
oh man, you know Gil? You know the famous Gil Billy story, where Billy was minding his own business at 2 in the morning. I don't know what Billy was doing at 2 in the morning in his room, and he said he couldn't fall asleep because he was next door to Gil, and Gil was taking a shower at 2 in the morning.
And singing.
Singing Broadway show tunes or whatever.
Now, there's a lot that doesn't make sense about the story. Why was Gil showering at 2 in the morning?
I don't know.
Why was Billy listening?
I don't know. And why did Gil do side 1 of Into the Woods?
That's
why
right.
did he
And
do
we
the
didn't-
entire? I mean, it wasn't like one song. That's a hell of a shower.
Yeah.
What was so slimy on Gil that he had to do an entire Sondheim album to get it off? That's the question. Ask Gil that. Talk to your boyfriend, Gil. Next time you and Gil are tweeting, see why he's so dirty. What takes so much loofah scrubbing that you get all the way to the finale of Into the Woods? Into the Woods. Gil. Sheboygan.
That was a Rich thing.
We did Sheboygan, honestly, because it was the city that we thought we could make work with the swear word.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sheboygan,
we could have gone, Frankfurt, but we thought, but
It's my hometown. It's where I was born.
There you go.
I was very curious.
yeah, that's it, because we could morph seamlessly from somebody saying a swear word into Sheboygan, Wisconsin, and you think it's going to be a swear word. So it was a good joke. Put it in the new motto? Holy Sheboygan. Yeah, perfect, good. Get to the town father's stat. I'm sure they'll get right all over that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And tell Gil we said hi,
Thanks for watching.
your BFF.
It's 2 in the morning.
Diddly beep, 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 the hits of the 80s. All right, Gil.
Hi. What is your favorite part about doing the conventions?
The drugs.
Besides the drugs.
The prostitutes.
If you had to take drugs and prostitutes out of it, favorite part?
Well, fuck, I'd stay home. Like, I wouldn't be like, sorry, I mean, Robbie, let's be honest.
It's not drugs and prostitutes. I'd say Saturday Night Special is my favorite part. Really, it's something that I'm really proud of, and it's something that wouldn't really exist if it weren't for Rich and Mark Shepard, who really helped make it what it is today. The
Stephanie
show.
Dizon was a force.
And of course, Stephanie and creation for
Better than great. That was a great addition to the weekend. I agree with you, because going back to my timeline thing. Who remembers pre-Saturday Night Special? It was speed dating. And how many of you miss speed dating? Be honest, because there's usually some people who miss speed dating, but they also what?
Make me sad if some hands go up.
There's a couple of hands who will go up, but they also, never mind, whatever joke I was going to make, I'm going to put on the back burner, save for backstage. But the point is,
they're not robbed people.
We hated it because it wasn't long enough for us to connect with anybody. It felt very non-connected. Like if we're doing this, we're trying, at that point, we had kind of changed everything. Karaoke party was flying, Fridays were flying. We're trying to do something interesting with Saturday night. And it just, those speed dating things for us, for the performers, felt like we were phoning it in, because you'd sit down, have 2 minutes to try to connect with 10 people, and then have to hop and go somewhere else. And it just felt schlocky, like we weren't giving enough for the buck, like you guys were getting shortchanged. And so we thought we needed something that was, I thought, a better presentation. We had this fantastic talent over here to our left, and Rob and the boys. And it didn't make sense just to have them to be a novelty for 72 hours. Let's do something with it. So,
and it's a great opportunity to showcase how many actors in this group have musical abilities.
Which I don't think we knew when we started.
Right.
It turned out we knew Mark was a pro drummer.
Right.
But we didn't, barring that, I don't think we knew anybody else could
we knew
sing.
you could play bass, and he could play drums.
Yeah.
And maybe we knew 1 or 2 people could sing, like Gil could sing, but then turns out,
And then people got added,
And Brianna, Kim, I remember Kim was like, yeah, it'd be okay, maybe one of these, I might try to sing. And then turns out she's got this great voice, like so many people.
And then it creates this platform where people who are new to this con circuit come in and just knock out of the park. Brianna was new, when that already existed, and she came in, it was so great. Lisa Barry has taken it by storm. Osric Chow knocked the lights out a couple of times doing some stuff. So, it's been really cool to see how much talent exists in a lot of the people who wouldn't necessarily get a chance to showcase it.
Jason Manns,
Note. I like a little sustain in my singers, but that's me.
the most beautiful voice.
I'll tell you what my favorite thing, a serious answer for you. One of my favorite things, I think when the convention started becoming more fun and less work, is when I started hosting and the band started co-hosting, because the crap makeup on this stage every morning gives me joy. And I know that it's obtuse and odd and comes out of nowhere, but that's because it comes out of nowhere. We never discuss what we're going to do. We never have a conversation. There's never like, hey, there's a hot topic we should address. Nothing. Robbie's literally snorting corn nuts in the back, and I'm watching disgusted, and then they call our names, and out we come.
Which is hard to do, by the way. Another
Mofo,
one's stuck, guys.
Mofo loves his corn nuts, I'm telling you. Got a problem. Although, I thought you had a problem with corn nuts until I saw you go to town on those M&Ms today. Like I felt bad for the letter M, the way you were destroying that. Unbelievable.
And then it turned green afterwards. I was like, Richie.
I know, you're like, I don't feel good. I'm like, gee, I wonder. Well, let's get a team of doctors in. Oh, no, wait, let's just look at the debris at your feet. Empty boxes of M&Ms.
It hurt.
Um,
Well, someone gave it to me as a gift in the
oh, well,
photo.
then you got to eat it in 4 seconds.
That's
because
right.
otherwise...
They're peanut butter flavored.
Ah,
That's all my favorite things.
ah,
I was crazy. Afterwards, I was like, I did it, Rich. I really did it.
I done did it, Rich. Got a tummy ache, Rich. And I can't let anything out because I got so many drugs in my beehole. I'm going to implode, Rich.
I love you. Always talk about how I do.
Some of it's going to be chocolatey and some of it's not. Good luck figuring it out. I don't like it either. This is what really happened. I'm just telling you what happened. I think it's gross too. I live in this world.
I love you. You the drugs backstage, and you just outed me. Actually, that all I'm just doing is a lot of corn nuts.
But you know, anything done too much is a drug, right?
That's true.
Yeah, that's the thing. No, I think so. I think my favorite thing is just a sort of free form exercise we get to do coming up here in the morning. When that includes the band. It's Robbie and me vamping, but the band's always paying attention to what we're doing and adds nuances to it, and it's just super fun. I mean, it's improv at its finest, and Robbie and I come from that world, and it's a really great opportunity to keep those skills tight, airtight.
That's right.
A lot of people are out there going,
Airtight.
thank you for your question.
You didn't know what you were saying? You don't say.
Do you know what airtight means? Yeah. You.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
So my question stood me up. Could you guys answer it as Matt?
No.
I'll try.
Show your abs.
No, because I was going to ask him what he's doing now that he's finished General Hospital and is moving on to new and better things.
Right now, he's making a Lifetime movie, or Lifetime. That's why he wasn't able to be here. He's busy making shows for Lifetime.
I don't know, man. I'm just trying to.
There you go.
I'm just doing my best, man. Just
There you go.
like, I don't know. Sometimes I'll just like smoke a little weed and just like, I don't know. It's like, all right, I'll take it off.
And scene. You're welcome. You.
Hi, my name's Jenny. So my question is, if you could play another one of the characters on Supernatural, who would it be?
Demon 4 from episode 1307.
A great character, underrated.
Underrated, one line,
Yep.
effortlessly done.
Gives a look.
Gives a look.
Yeah.
Dark eyes, you can't really see what the look is,
Yep.
but gives a look.
I couldn't tell you the thing about the episode, but that guy.
Oh, guy.
For me, it'd be Gabriel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be Gabriel. Not the trickster, though.
Just the one facet.
Yeah, just the one facet.
When they give you the script, like you're playing, like, no, I'm not.
Nope.
I'm not doing that guy.
No, just Gabriel.
I'm just that guy.
So then I would be able to fight you in the scene where you play yourself and fight yourself.
And I would direct you to lose.
Yep. And scene.
Thank you. You.
Hi. So you two are ridiculously funny.
Thank you.
So I was kind of thinking, if you guys had like a talk show or a podcast or something on YouTube or something, it would be hilarious. And I was just thinking, what kind of ridiculous topics would you guys like to talk about?
Well, since we've never thought of it till right now.
I think we'd look a lot and sound a lot like our opening.
We talk about nothing?
We talk about nothing.
Yeah.
And you say I do a lot of drugs. And say questionable things like, Rob's really hard.
To improv with,
improv
yeah.
with.
I mean, you really made that dirty. I mean, all I was saying is like, you're extremely hard. All the time. To pin down for a dinner, right? You know what I mean? Like, you're just, it's unbelievable. I'll be honest. I think you're hard on purpose. I think you make yourself
myself
be
hard.
hard
Yeah. Yep.
to track down.
Yeah.
Sometimes. You're very aloof.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, you've got it. You're really good at what you do, just pinning things on me and walking away, and everyone eyes turn to me. You have a way where you will say something like that
Yeah.
and pin it on me,
Yeah.
and then go, wow, look at that.
Well, what do you want me to do, Bobby? It
that
already happened. It already happened. I mean, there it went. You're hard.
Yeah, and it'll morph into like, well, Robbie said he was hard. It's not me. I'm just repeating what the guy's saying.
You go off stage to the band like, you hear Robbie, I'm hard bit? Wow. It does.
I get tweeted at. Listen, Mr. Mouth.
Mr. Mouth.
Clean up your act.
That's hilarious, Mr. Mouth. I always love when Robbie and I do the morning thing, and sometimes
Every
it
single time.
becomes, like Robbie becomes, occasionally, if you go back and look in the archives, occasionally he'll be the butt of the joke. Occasionally. Not always. It's happened once or twice. Good luck finding it, but it is there. And it'll be great. So talk about the, like
Me being a drug mule.
you being a drug mule. Okay, so you're a drug mule. And we'll talk a lot about what he has up his shooter, and then how illegal it is and how he's transporting over state lines. And then we'll go backstage, and I'll say, like, Robbie, you killed him with the whole drugs up your beehole bit. And he's like, I didn't do the bit. I'm the victim of the bit. I've been bitten.
Ah, you killed it. Killed it today, Robbie, with that whole bit. I didn't do it. I didn't even say a word. It's your bit.
Yeah, but without you, it's
There you go,
nothing.
bit.
We're going to say the mic stand does this crap? No, there's got to be a human there. It's got to be you.
Yeah.
The comedy king.
The great thing about it, too, is like you'll say these things, and then people be like, you know, anything's cool that you put drugs up your butt. I've got no problem with that. I'm like, what? I never put, that was a bit.
Yeah.
People to this day still think I actually hate Perth.
Yeah, but the one thing is, because there's been nothing to prove it to the contrary. That's all I'm going to say.
Except my word.
Okay. Oh, we'll take that, everybody. Please. You know, the thing is funny is the having done this so many years, the one thing if you want to make sure that we do something continually, ask us to stop. Because that never goes well.
No,
you know, I didn't take kindly to the time you did blah, blah, blah. Oh, you didn't, did you? The next day, his whole bit is about that thing.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody got upset that we made a joke about Satan and Billy. And so we've been Satanist on stage. Just because, why not?
Yeah.
It's our 10 minutes, man. That's what we get to do.
Yeah.
I don't know what you asked, but thank you for
Well,
your
it's a
question.
podcast, and that's what it would be.
there you
That's
go.
what it would sound like.
Yeah, there you go.
Our podcast.
Yo,
Hi, this is a question for Rob.
all right.
Is that
in-
popcorn?
Yeah.
That's another addiction Rob
Well,
has.
it's plastic. Sorry.
I'm so glad you said that because he was making
was
his
about
move.
getting-
I
Eat it.
know. So in season 11, Chuck sits on a park bench with Dean, and they talk, and you're eating popcorn.
Yes,
and
I
I
am.
found out that popcorn is one of your favorite
Favorite food, yeah.
So did they say, hey, you're going to sit on the bench, talk to Jensen, and you're going to eat popcorn? Did you say, I'm going to eat popcorn?
Yeah. They said, well, they had the idea that, like, that I should be eating in all the scenes in that episode. So I'm eating Chinese food. I'm eating popcorn. I think I've got a beer or pizza. Anyway, I'm eating. They just thought that was a funny thing.
Is that a Phil idea?
No, I think Eugenie wrote that episode.
Oh, it was already in the script.
Yeah. Actually, it was in the script a couple of times, and then they added more on the day. Like,
Not Phil? Bob?
the one that's you in 20 years.
Tom Wright.
Yeah, Tom Wright directed it. He is. He's Rich Speight in 20 years.
I shadowed Tom Wright. I'm gonna keep a pin where
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
going. I shadowed Tom Wright, first director I shadowed. Tom Wright is a legend. Tom Wright, when you join the Directors Guild, you have to have, now it's 3, it used to be 2, other members of the Directors Guild sign your application to vouch for you. Tom Wright's application to the DGA is signed by Hitchcock. Kid you not. He was Hitchcock's last storyboard artist. He did all of the paintings for Night Gallery, Rod Serling. He was the B camera operator on Apocalypse Now. He's done unbelievable stuff.
Unbelievable stuff.
He's about 5'7", so I think I have him by an inch, maybe. But he's
from where?
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Wears a baseball hat, wears a pea coat, wears jeans and Blundstones.
And rings.
Jewelry and, like dream. And he's just a badass. At 80 years old, out there directing, and he didn't take shit from anybody. It's the greatest thing in the world. It's shadowing him with such an education. But at one point, somebody took a picture, and he was standing doing his job, and I was shadowing him, and I was wearing Blundstones, jeans, a pea coat. He has a gray beard. I had my graying beard, baseball hat, and I'm a Nashvilleian. He's a Kentuckian. We have a similar vocal pattern and humor style, and it was pretty trippy. I'm like, he's just a lot better and angrier than I am. Other than that, we're very similar. As you said,
they talk the same, too.
I'm aging towards
Both had that kind of twang.
Oh, and he had those great stories. He'd be like, yeah, sometimes an actor would come up to me and say, Tom, I don't like the way this scene's blocked. I don't think I'd walk over there. I think I'd walk over there at that point. I say, all right. You should do that. That's what you feel like you should do. You should do that. You won't be in the scene, but hell, makes my days shorter.
Which is this guy. I mean, that's to a T.
Anyway,
so Tom directed it. So I think Tom was like, actually it was Tom's idea, I think, to have popcorn in that scene. He's like, I'm thinking to have a thing of popcorn. So it was his idea, and I was like, I love it. I love that idea. But the problem was I kept eating it so much that I was spitting during the takes. So I had to stop eating so much popcorn. And they were running out of popcorn, so they couldn't keep refilling it. I'm really a fiend when it comes to popcorn. Anyway, so yes, it was an idea that they had that I was immediately like on board with.
And you were wise to bring plastic.
Yeah.
You saved yourself. Smart. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Tim. I have a quick question for Rich, actually. With this being the last season of Supernatural, if you get a chance to do any directing of this season, you kind of touched on this a second ago, would it be possible to have God smite Perth in one of the episodes?
Thematically, it makes sense. I don't like it, though, because I happen to be a big fan of Australia, and anybody who's from Perth who's watching right now, you got a friend in me. But Robbie.
It's a good thing we're not, this isn't on camera being streamed across the world. Oh, wait, it is. Tim, thanks so much for that. Well, I guess I don't have a say. I'm not direct. The question's for you. I don't have a say.
Listen, here's the thing. I don't write the episodes. I don't get that choice, but wouldn't it be interesting? Yeah. For no reason at all, and apropos of no plot point, God smote Perth.
The great thing about this, and if you don't know, you surely you get it by now, Rich made up this fact that I hate Perth, Australia, which I've never been to Perth. I don't hate anything, and no. But it doesn't matter how much I say that's not true. He goes, yeah, or I believe that. And so people still come up to me. People send us gifts in the mail from Perth. I love Perth. I hate Perth. Why does Rob hate Perth?
Why does Rob hate Perth is the question, and I'll tell you this.
If you Google Rob Benedict, it'll come up, hates Perth.
It does, it finishes it out.
Try it.
You get Rob hates Perth. I didn't believe it either. I thought somebody must have made this up. Until I Googled it and realized there's a line of clothing that say Rob hates Perth.
Yeah.
And now, if you can't believe a t-shirt, what can you believe? That's what I...
Image search Rob hates Perth, and you'll see all the merch all over the world.
So, in a way, you're welcome.
If I ever do make it to Perth, you know they're all going to kick my ass. And you're going to be standing there going, well, I mean, you asked for it, buddy.
Well, wouldn't kill you to dial back the... Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it. You.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'd like to know what is the most interesting thing you've had to learn to do for a role?
Oh, interesting.
You know what's funny about that? I had to do a couple of things like that I learned, and immediately after I shoot the scene, I forget it. But I had to learn to juggle for a short film early in my career, and I had to learn to play piano for a piano scene where I'm actually playing piano. I learned this piece on piano and played it for this pilot that I did, the World War II pilot I did. I remember playing piano and I played it, and everyone else was like, oh my God, dude, that was great, you really did it. And literally 2 days later, I could not do it. I just couldn't, so I just like memorized this song on piano, and I couldn't do it to this day, but I was glad that I did it for the shot.
Yeah, I think one of the things that comes to mind was Supernatural related, actually, was the sword fight I do with Fenrir in that episode, Unfinished Business, 1320. And I happened to be up there acting in an episode previously, so I was able to work with Rob Hader and his squad to try to get that down. I've never done any sword work, so I mean, even though obviously we had a double doing the really intricate stuff, I learned the whole ballet so I could do the whole fight, so I could cut in and out of me versus the stunt guy. And it was just, watching the people actually do it was phenomenal. Kirk, who works with Rob Hader, designed that fight, the sword work, and it's just, if you've ever seen real artists, martial artists, or sword workers do that, it's like ballet. It's stunning. And to know that there's an art to it that is meant to lend itself to eventually killing your opponent is amazing to watch. Not as amazing to watch when I'm doing it, but amazing to watch when I cut myself into somebody. I could make myself look fine. But I found that really challenging because I literally spent every moment while I was prepping that episode. I'd have a practice sword in my hand, working on those moves to try to make just a little bit work. So the more you can do as an actor, the more it's usable in film. So obviously, if you go back and watch that, the aerial shots and shots where you would never ever see my face, I use the stunt double because that's going to be the glory stuff where he does the spins and the jacket school and all that stuff. But learning that was a real challenge for me. And I couldn't do one move of that thing right now if I had to. Not at all. Thank you for your question. I like your answer. Say it again?
She liked your answer.
Oh, thank you.
Mine not so much.
Hi.
Yeah, well. She's from Perth, you know.
Hi. So both of your characters, when they come in as different entities than what they really are. So I was wondering if you knew that if Gabriel or Chuck was really going to be God or an archangel.
No, I had no idea. When I started, I was just playing the janitor turned, trickster, but I didn't know anything beyond that. And I will say I'm not sure the writers did either. I'm not sure if they developed that after the fact because it's hard to do one episode. So maybe it came to them in the writer's room, hey, we could milk this for an interesting storyline, or if they planned it, I don't know, but I had no idea. You?
I know. I just knew that I was a prophet at that point, and but I've heard recently, and then I found out at the end of season 5 is with that the episode, Eric Kripke's last episode, where I kind of narrate it, and then I kind of disappeared.
Swan Song, I think, right?
Swan Song, yeah. New. But I was recently told from the inside, and I never knew this, that Kripke knew all along that my character was going to have that journey. And I thought it was like you. I thought I don't know if they knew until the end of season 5, but I think he kind of supposedly there are little hints that I say throughout. And I'm like, really? Nobody told me that. That would have been nice to know.
We get the pleasant surprises. We just get them sooner than you do.
Yeah,
Thank you.
My very first episode, I'm like, well, that must be it. I'm a god. I'm a cruel and capricious god, and like that supposedly was like a wink and a nod. I didn't know that.
I see you've let it go. You.
I'm back.
It's the Perth
Hi.
thing. I'm on edge because of the Perth thing.
First off, Rich, thank you for making me successfully cry tears of joy earlier.
Well, you're welcome.
And then my question was, if you were stuck in a situation like Sam was in the mystery spot, what would you do?
This is a question for Rob?
No, I think this one's for you, buddy.
Robbie?
For both of you.
I was
don't
not
know.
in that episode.
It's for both of us.
I want to take this opportunity to thank you for making me cry tears of sadness earlier.
Followed by tears of rage. And then you calmed yourself down with little tears of fears. All right, so what are we doing here?
You're answering a question about Sam?
No.
You in the predicament mystery spot?
Oh, I think I would just let Dean die. Go on with my life. Be the tall, good-looking dude that I already am, because I'm Jared. Cultivate my hair into something fantastic. Maybe join a band, because bands need long-haired dudes. And go my merry way.
Run a marathon?
Run a marathon. Get on a train. Stop that train. You know, the usual.
Be a jerk.
Yeah. The usual. What would you do, Bubba?
Yeah, same. Maybe I'd marry an actress I once worked with.
Smart.
Have 3 kids.
Smart.
Move to Austin.
Cool. Are you hitting on Jen Padalecki right now? Is that what you? Okay, good.
Yep.
Just making sure. Just making sure when I see him, when I recount the panel.
Hey, man, we're cool. We don't have to. It's not like this is being streamed all over the world. Oh, wait.
Oh, right. Is that like Jen's at home watching right now? Oh, she is.
Oh,
hi, Jen. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Genevieve.
Thank you for your question. You're nice wings, by the way. Top shelf. You.
Hi. Well, I asked it to Tom Ho on his panel, so I'm going to ask it again. If you could sit and talk to somebody from the past that's living or dead, or even from now, who would you want to talk to
Ooh, that's a loaded question.
I have an answer, but I'm almost. I don't want to be.
Well, I think it goes, I'm going to say this. Well, obviously, there's a million people, if you could go back, that if you're a fan of history or anything, fan of anything, you'd like to meet that person. So my answer is solely based on something I've just recently been watching. I would love to have a sit-down conversation with John Belushi. I know that's a bizarre one, but I was watching the Gilda Radner documentary, and to watch that group of people, Gilda Radner, Lorraine Newman, Garrett Morris, Chevy Chase, John Belushi. Bill Murray, but it wasn't Bill Murray yet at that point. This is pre-Bill Murray, but Brian Doyle Murray was part of this group. I guess Bill was part of breaking the album
when
stuff.
they did the
right,
radio show.
Right, you're right. It's all of those guys and gals, how they sort of broke ground in televised comedy. Like we take SNL for granted. Do you realize how long that show's been on the air and how successful it's been? I mean, what a freight train and what a novel idea it was at the time to put comedians like that on film and air it. I would love to chat with Lorne Michaels, because one of the things I find fascinating is, how do you have that idea? Granted, he was paying attention to the comedy scene, but how do you sell it to a network? How do you get a yes for that? And have these unknown people doing this crazy thing late night? There's a lot about that world I would love to chat with. And I say Belushi because I've watched 2 documentaries. Both documentaries talk about him being the absolute leader of the group. That he was the most creative force out of that gaggle of incredibly creative people. Watching that Gilda Radner documentary, and they're doing, I don't remember what show, but they're doing a Broadway show in Toronto. And Gilda Radner, Eugene Levy, and Martin Short. Martin Short's 22, and Gilda Radner's 26.
And he was dating Gilda Radner.
Yeah, and they're dating. And just footage of these, like, oh my God. And then John Candy, and all these people who became literally the face and voice all hanging out together. It has changed what we consider funny, what American and Canadian movies looked like for the next 30 years. I would love to have been a part of the genesis of that. And just to go back and watch them do it and ask how they, how it came about and be a fly on the wall. Robbie?
I was going to say Jesus.
Well, Belushi and Jesus both had long hair and a beard.
And did a lot of blow. No. No. Yeah, just, and ask him, maybe obvious, but just like, so, resurrection, true, false? Asking for humanity. That's going to fight about this for years, So, anyway, I was not going to say it because it almost feels controversial to say it.
I think it's a legitimate.
Could have, could answer a lot.
There's other things you want to go. You want to go back to Germany in the 30s to the dean of the art school and say, let Hitler in. Because he's going to get real sour when he doesn't get into art school. And it's going to go pear-shaped. You know what I mean? There's a couple things. If you could just do this one thing. Have somebody say yes to Stephen Miller to prom. Take Stephen Miller to the dance, man. He's an angry mofo now. Would have been really cool. Somebody just held his hand once in high school. Several things I would like to do. Anyway, thank you for your question. You.
Hi. So, since everyone has their Apocalypse World counterparts, do you think that Gabriel and Chuck's counterparts are alive, and what do you think they're like?
I do think they're alive. I think they're tall and handsome and brave.
Super handsome.
They don't like corn nuts.
Nope.
They don't gorge themselves in M&Ms.
They love Perth.
They love Perth. They have literally the emptiest beeholes in the alternate universe.
Nothing's ever been up there.
Just saying. Good luck in 8th grade. So glad we're having this conversation with a young person. It's always, that's the thing you do. You answer this question, you're like, and that's why we did that terrible thing to that donkey. Hey, little fella. Is that a Fisher-Price sword you got there? Yay. I'm not wrong. We've ruined many a child.
Yeah. Yes, we have. Yes, we have,
Thank you for your question.
But thank you for the question.
Yeah, right there.
Hi, this is for Rich, I guess. I'm a big fan of your minor roles, and I was wondering, there are a lot of people here, everybody here knows you as Gabriel and the Trickster, and I was wondering, people in the room to
to go visit from your backlog?
Look, I'm a massive fan of Band of Brothers, and that's not. It is, and certainly not a show that I'm the star of. I mean, it's a massive cast, and I'm one of many. But I think why I love that is a wonderful portrayal of real people who did extraordinary things during a difficult time, the world's history. And I think it's very well done. It's exceptional television. Back in a time when exceptional television wasn't the norm. Now I feel like TV has progressed significantly, and a lot of shows are outstanding, and there's a multitude of networks and opportunities for great programming to be created. I think at the time, I know for a fact that HBO felt like they were rolling the dice in a big way, spending the money on this. They didn't anticipate the success it was going to have. And I think what HBO did really, really well, and what Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg did really, really well, is they always made it about the veterans. They always made it about the real men. So that it starts with the men talking about their experience, it ends with the men talking about their experience. And I think it's one of those things, because it's not going to get old. You're not going to go back and go, well, look at those weird cell phones. It is a period piece on its face. And I just think the honesty with which it was executed from its inception and execution, pre-production, production, and post-production, makes it a standout production that I honestly think it's a piece of product that I will never exceed. As a performer, as a director, as a writer, anything. I think I accidentally happened into a great piece of American filmmaking. And so for that, I would say, go watch it as a cinemaphile, but go watch it also as a person who needs to know what actually happened, when it actually happened, and why it happened, so we can keep it from happening again. Because real men sacrificed real lives so that we hopefully wouldn't have to. And I see, as a culture, all humans tend to repeat themselves, and it's a horrible thing, and it's great to have pieces like that you can go back and watch and go, oh, right, this is what happens. This is what it costs. This is what it takes. Are we sure we want to go back down that road? So it's something I'm proud of, and I want people to watch, not for me, but for what it is and what it represents. Thank you.
Hello, my question is for both of you. It might be kind of hard. I was wondering
Robbie's kind of hard. To nail down for lunch, I'm telling you.
I was wondering, what has been your favorite and your least favorite scene that you have done on the show?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a real tough one. Do you have anything leap to mind for you?
Well, the favorite, I'd say my favorite scene that I have done ever in my career is the scene where I sing Fare Thee Well with... that whole episode was pretty special for me, and coming back and to be able to do it in that way, and to be able to sing on the show, and you know, to work with Curtis Armstrong, so that comes to mind as probably one of my favorite moments.
My favorite probably is the scene I directed between Jared Padalecki and Nate Torrance when it was Sully and Sam. When Sam was talking to his imaginary friend about having to go back into the cage. Because I thought that was just a fantastic piece of acting by Jared Padalecki. And I was so happy to have been given the shot to direct that show. My first episode I ever directed, I loved that script, I loved that scene, and I had specific ideas about how I thought that scene should play out. And my ideas played out the way I wanted them to, but everything was elevated by the nuanced connection and performance between Nate and Jared. I absolutely, as simple as that scene is, there's no fancy blocking, there's no camera tricks, it's well lit, well framed, and perfectly acted by Jared. And Nate Torrance was a great ally for him in that scene. It's just a beautiful piece of filmmaking. And I remember watching it and just absolutely getting choked up watching him do his thing. I thought it was just fantastic. And if you ever wonder, can Jared and Jensen really act, I can tell you, and Rob can tell you, as somebody who's sat right there, a foot away, and watched them do it, they're fucking phenomenal performers. I mean, they're beautiful and all that. They come with a great package, but at their core, they're both incredibly talented men who are not afraid to pour their heart out, or put their comedy out, or their anger out, or whatever it takes for the scene. And for all the joking we do as friends, it's a real sight to behold to see it up close and personal. And that was an awesome moment to be on the side of the camera for the first time watching it happen. So that was my favorite. I think we'll leave it at favorites, right? Let's leave it at favorites. Thank you.
Okay, I have a question for Rob. I love you as Chuck, just want to say. So Chuck is with Amar, they hanging out, doing some stuff, and you get a little whiff of Jack.
Yeah.
And you see a scene, I don't know, in your head or something, of what happened with Jack and Mary Winchester.
Yeah.
How are you going to come down and help your grandson get right, and also maybe bring Gabriel back too?
Yeah, you're really MIA, Bobo.
Going to address the first part of your question first. Yeah, I mean, he needs a good old-fashioned whooping. So I would like to come down, and believe me, I see all, so I'm well aware of what's going on. So I think it's time that I come back and address this issue. It needs to be addressed. So we'll see. Gabriel's is a more difficult one to answer.
Oh, man.
I've said it in the episode. It takes a long time to put a...
I've never seen you this hard
Archangel.
to get to answer a question honestly.
Archangels are really tough to put back together, especially when they're so lippy. That's why I thought the whole mouth sewed shut thing actually I was okay with. Yeah, well, I got to like Perth for several thousand years, and that was nice. But no, at some point, look, it would be a dream to come back to Supernatural with Richard, either playing Gabriel or directing me would be a thrill.
Awesome.
So
fingers crossed.
Both of us are crossing fingers that that'll happen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Last
for the
question, real quick. Hit me.
If you had an imaginary friend like Sully, what would it look and act like?
Robbie, you ever have an imaginary friend?
I did. Mine was a French fry wrapper behind a J.C. Penney's that lived in the dumpster. And his name was JD8. That was my imaginary friend.
I never had an imaginary friend, but I did pretend to be a ballpoint pen in my dad's pocket a lot. That way I could hang out with my dad when he was at work. I did it. I'd climb into the bed sheets when they were neatly tucked in, and I'd put my arm outside, and I'd pretend I was a ballpoint pen in my dad's pocket, and he'd be walking around, and I'd be talking to the tape dispenser and the Rolodex. Go on, guys. And they'd, we're moving. Sorry, see you later. You know, that kind of stuff. So I guess my imaginary friend looks like a ballpoint pen. Thank you so much. That's Rob Benedict right there.
Richard Speight Jr.
Thank you, everybody. Whoa, what a panel. I don't know what's happening next, Bobo. Do we know? Play. We'll figure it out. Robbie's going to find out. Thank you, everybody. All right. It's awkward segue time.
Before we do this, the band is going to be signing out in the merch room.
Merch room.
So if you want to come by and see us, we'll maybe play a couple songs first.
Some songs.
And then we'll be signing autographs of band merch.
Band merch. That's where you should be.
We'll sign it for free. If you have a Loud and Swain item, we'll sign it for free.
That's where you should be right now. But if for some reason you're not going there right now, then here's what's going to happen. You're going to be forced to witness mayhem at a high. This is not just any game. This is a game where winner takes all, and it's for keeps. You know damn well what I'm talking about, don't you? Yeah.